Daf Yomi, tractate Bava Batra, page 121a, top of the page. The words Moadei Hashem Nemru. The festivals of the Lord were stated. Shabbos Bereshis Lo Nemra. Ben Azai Omer Moadei Hashem Nemru. Hafaras and Dar Lo Nemra. The festivals of the Lord were stated, but Shabbat, which commemorates creation, was not stated. Ben Azai says the festivals of the Lord were stated, but the dissolution of vows was not stated. This concludes the Braita. Rabbi Yossi bar Nasan gemir lehamas niso v'lo yoda le'lemfoshe az al basrei deroshesh ne'arda v'lo ashkachei az al basrei le'mechoze ashkachei amar le mai moadei Hashem nemru Shabbos Bereshis lo nemro. The Gemara recounts that Rabbi Yossi bar Natan learned this Braita and did not know how to explain it. He followed Rav Sheshet to Narda in order to ask him about it, but he did not find him there. He followed him to Mehoza and found him. And he said to him, what is meant by Rabbi Yossi Haglili's statement? The festivals of the Lord are stated, but Shabbat, which commemorates creation, was not stated. What does he mean, as Shabbat of creation is explicitly mentioned in that section of the Torah? Leviticus 23, verse 3. Amar le moadei Hashem tzrichen kiddush beit din. Shabbat bereshit eno tzricha kiddush beit din. Sal kadai techamino hoel b'chsiv gavin moedois tiboy kiddush beit din ki moedois kamash melon. Rav Sheshet said to him, the festivals of the Lord require sanctification by the court. This means that the start of the month, which is dependent upon the appearance of the new moon, which determines the festivals, can be established only by a court composed of experts. Shabbat, which commemorates creation, does not require sanctification by the court. Shabbat is sanctified every week independent of any court action. It may enter your mind to say that since Shabbat is written adjacent to the festivals, it should require sanctification by the court, as do the festivals. Rabbi Yossi Haglili teaches us that Shabbat does not require this. My moadei Hashem nemro, haforas nidorim lo nemro, moadei Hashem tzrichin mumchin, haforas nidorim eino tzrichin mumchin. Rabbi Yossi bar Natan asked, what is meant by Ben Azai's statement? The festivals of the Lord were stated, but the dissolution of vows was not stated. After all, the Torah writes explicitly about the dissolution of vows. Rav Sheshet answered him, the festivals of the Lord required experts to determine when the months begin and when the festivals will be observed, but the dissolution of vows does not require experts. V'ha Roshei Hamatois ksiv, Amar Rav Chizda, Amar Yochanan b'Yochid Mumcha. The Gemara questions this explanation, but it is written, the heads of the tribes, Numbers 30, verse 2, in the portion discussing the halachot of vows. How then can it be said that vows can be dissolved by laymen? Rav Chizda says that Rabbi Yochanan says the phrase teaches that vows can be dissolved by a single expert authority. In any event, the Gemara has established that Beit Shammai can derive that dissolution of vows can be performed by laymen in the manner stated by Ben Azai, as explained by Rav Sheshet. Tanan Hasam, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Loi hayom yomim toivim l'Yisrael kechamisha asar b'av u'chiyoim ha'kipurim שבהן בנויס ירושלים יוצא אויס בכלי לבון שואלין שלא לבייש את מי שאין לו. מי שאין לה, why שאין לו? בישלום יום כיפורים יום סליחה ומחילה, יום שניתנו בו לוחס החוינויס, אלא 15 באב מה היא? The Gemara discusses a Mishnah that addresses the issue of intertribal marriages. We learned in a Mishnah there in Ta'anit 26b, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said there were no days as joyous for the Jewish people as the 15th of Av and as Yom Kippur. As on these days, the daughters of Jerusalem would emerge in white garments, which each woman borrowed from another. Why did they borrow garments? They did this so as not to embarrass one who did not have her own white garments. The Gemara analyzes the Mishnah. Granted that on Yom Kippur is a day of joy because it is a day of pardon and forgiveness, and moreover, it is a day on which the last tablets of the covenant were given. But what is the special joy of the 15th of Av? Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel Yom Shehuz Chushvatim Lavoy Ze Bo Ze My Derush Ze Hadavor Davar Ze Lo Yehei Noeg Ela Bedor Ze. Rabbi Yehuda says that Shmuel says this was the day when the members of different tribes were permitted to marry into one another's tribe. Such marriages were restricted for the first generation to enter Eretz Israel, as discussed above, 120a. What verse did the sages of that time interpret into support of their conclusion that this halakha was no longer in effect? The verse that states, "This is the matter," Numbers 36, verse 6, meaning this matter shall be practiced only in this generation in which Eretz Israel is being divided among the tribes. Rabba bar bar Chana amar Rabbi Yochanan Yom Shutu Sheva ben Yom Loi Bekaha Dichsiv Ish Yisrael Ish Ba B'mitzvah Leimor Ish Mimenu Lo Yitin Bito LeBinyamin Leisho My Derush Mimenu V'lo Mi Bonenu. Rabba bar bar Chana says that Rabbi Yochanan offered another explanation. The 15th of Av was the day when the tribe of Benjamin was permitted to enter into the congregation of the other tribes of Israel through marriage, after the other tribes found a way to dissolve the vow that had prohibited them from marrying a member of the tribe of Benjamin in the aftermath of the episode of the concubine in Gibeah, Judges chapter 19, verse 20, as it is written, "And the men of Israel had taken an oath in mitzvah, saying, None of us shall give his daughter to Benjamin as a wife." Judges 21, verse 1. The Gemara asks, what verse did the sages of that time interpret that enabled them to dissolve this vow? The verse states, "None of us," and not "none of our children." Therefore, the oath applied only to the generation that had taken the oath. Rav Dimi bar Yosef Amar Rav Nachman Yom Shekalu Boy Masei Midbar Damar Mar Ad Shelo Kalu Masei Midbar. Rav Dimi bar Yosef says that Rav Nachman says the 15th of Av was the day on which those designated to perish in the wilderness stopped dying, as the entire generation that had left Egypt had died due to the sin of the spies. Numbers 14, 29, and 30. As the Master says, as long as those designated to perish in the wilderness had not stopped dying. Continue on 121b.